founder, Lady Rochelle, where we move away from awareness towards action on this Money-Making Monday. And you have decided to tune in today. I encourage you to take this ride with me as we dive into everybody needs some coins, right?
Right.
Exactly. So we are live on IntellectualRadio.com. We're also on YouTube, and you can get your extra dose by going to Spreaker.com later on in the week. Don't forget, Lady Rochelle, just type in at Warriors Talk with the number 1. The show is being sponsored by Allstate with Paula Kelly. She's located at 327 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood, Illinois. And she is servicing all of your insurance needs. Just call her at 708-758-3300. Our money-making quote of the day is, a wealthy person is simply someone who has learned how to make money when they are not working. And we would all like to do that. So I have some announcements. I have, this will be our 4th year with Warriors Talk Live. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
Yes, that time just went by so fast. So we're on year number 4. And so for the 4th year, what we're doing is having our annual Survivor's Night of Reflection as well as a book launch. So we're doing a book, and it's titled When Warriors Talk, God Listens. And let me tell you, this book, goodness. It was supposed to come out in June, but we had to push it back. So it is coming out October the 19th will be our launch.
That's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Oh my goodness. So I'm really excited because I think this was God's work, because it's breast cancer survivors in the book. It's co-survivors, it's thrivers. And each one of them are telling their story about how they had an encounter with God and it changed the trajectory of their journey. So I'm excited that it's in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which makes more sense, right?
Absolutely. Timing.
God's timing is not always our timing.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about this. I'll be able to breathe once this book is out and get my life back. So I want you guys to join us, though. If you have not gotten your ticket, go to bit.ly/When Warriors Talk. And we're going to have an amazing time. We're going to have all of the authors. They get a chance to tell you a snippet of their journey. We're also going to count some survivors of the year. I'm excited about that. And we do award someone financially who is in battle as well. We know that a lot of times when we collect money or we donate money to these organizations, we don't know where the money goes, right? So you'll be able to see someone get that money that night. So a portion of the proceeds will go to a warrior in battle. So yes, I'm excited about that. So let's get on with the show. So we have 2 amazing guests that are here today. They're going to share their secret about how they're making some extra coins. And we have with us Anika Rivers.
Hi,
Anika.
It's so good to be here.
Yes, and we have Sydney Marks.
Hello, everybody.
Let me see if I can get y'all both on.
Here we go.
All right. Awesome. So I'm just going to give you some little tidbits about them. So when you take a girl who's obsessed with farmhouse home decor and a guy who's equally obsessed with do-it-yourself projects, you get the
Arab Shop.
Arab Shop. I hope I said that correctly. So the Arab Shop was actually founded by Sydney and Anika, and they actually came up with the idea in August 2018, and then October they launched it. They stepped out on faith, and they did their thing.
You're right.
So Anika is obsessed with HGTV hit show Fixer Upper, and so she went to Sydney and she said, "Hey, you know what? Let's do some modern farmhouse style home decor." And they started their business. They learned the techniques from family members who were already doing these things, and they watched countless videos on YouTube. And guess what? They got to work, and the rest is history. And so here they are. Now, I always ask my guests, was it something that I left out that you want someone to know about you?
I think, well, like my family, they kind of say it all the time. But for anyone who doesn't know me, one of the things that one of my best friends always say is, you're the type of person that, I mean, if you say you're going to do it, you literally are going to do it. You don't have to know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But I think it's just, and I think it's the same for Sid as well. I think that's one reason we work so well together, is because once we kind of make a decision, it's like, after that is just the rest is history, like we said. So I think it's just, really working hard, just being a hard worker and just doing what you really want to do and not just talking about it, but kind of, like being about it and doing everything that you set out to do.
Taking action.
Yeah,
I like that.
Totally agree with Anika. I think you have to find a person that you are willing to work with. I think that's why we work so well together, because we kind of stand in our own lanes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
we
that was one
do.
of my
No,
questions. I like that.
we do. He's so it's so funny when we're out and when we're selling our items. I think that a lot based on their feedback, a lot of people assume that kind of like the cutting of the wood and like the masculine stuff is kind of Sydney, and I'm just the one that kind of makes it look pretty.
It's the
And
opposite.
it's the opposite. He can do it, but I'm the one that's like, let's cut this wood, let's sand this, and he's like, okay, this color doesn't really go. And so it's actually the complete opposite.
Wow.
But yeah, a lot of people, they say, and I think this is one of the things too. There's, this thing that goes around where it says you can't work with your family or your friends. And I disagree. I think that working with anyone, you have to just, number one, have a level of respect for them, trust why you're working with them, but also, as Sydney says, stay in your lane. There are certain things like I know that I'm not that great at,
Yep.
so I don't, I don't even try. And Sydney is. So when he says, I think this is right, or I think this looks like cool, like as long as we're agreeing with it. So I think that's one thing too. A lot of people are so afraid to work with other people. They like to do it a solo way, but we feed off of each other as far as ideas and energy. And so there are times where I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. And Sydney's like, come on, we got, like, keep the faith, like we got this. And there are times where he's like frustrated. I'm like, it's cool, everything's gonna work out. So I think we feed off each other in balance. And like I said, it's really just about respecting the lane and why we work. I came to him because there were things that I didn't really know much about that he did. So
that was going to be one of my questions. You went to anybody. You
yeah.
could have said, hey, let any meeny money more. But I mean, you chose Sydney for a reason.
Yeah.
And the person that you choose have to complement what you do.
Mhm.
So like you said, if it's certain things that you can't do, then he should be able to fill it in. And if neither one of y'all can fill it in, then you outsource.
Yep.
You get somebody else to do it.
AKA my grandfather.
Yes.
Because we have this thing, and another one of my friends always said, like, you have this idea, but you may not even know how to do it. And so they're like, how are we going to make this happen? So that's one thing. I didn't know much. I grew up around it, and Cindy did as well. Because what people may not know is we're actually cousins. So his dad worked with my grandfather all the time in construction and building on houses and things like that. So I've always been around it, and I've always loved it. But I kind of was, kind of kept from it, like, oh, well, this is going to be all the guys. And my grandfather was just like, hey, I don't want you being the only, female around. So just kind of stay back. But I think that we do so well with that, with just asking for help. We're not afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely.
I mean, my grandfather has taught us so much about woodworking and things, and how and the founder, a founder of a band that I'm in. I mean, he literally let me and Sid come to his house and just taught us how to use a table saw and a miter saw and different equipment that we had never, used before. So I think that's really big too, just asking for help and knowing that it's okay to ask for help.
So you guys didn't walk into this blindly. You did your research.
Yeah.
It is important to ask for help, because this is your products that you're putting out, and you want to put out the best product. So if you are tuning in, we are at Intellectual Radio, and this is Warriors Talk, and we are talking about getting those extra coins. And we're talking to Sydney Marks and Anika Rivers, and they are the founders of the Rev Shop.
Arab Shop.
God, I knew I was going to get it wrong. Goodness.
You're fine.
All right. It's called the Arab Shop, and it's spelled ARIV.
Yep.
And this name came about how?
So this is so funny. It took us so long to come up with the name. Because we were going back and forth, and I had a blog called thearablife.com. And the blog came from, and then I went through the same process of trying to find the perfect name. And somehow I came up with Arab, but it's really, because my name, Anika Rivers. So ARIV for Rivers. So we were going, when we came up with the idea of the Arab Shop, we were going back and forth on what name. And Sydney, he was just kind of like, whatever you pick is fine with me. And I'm like, no, like, I need help. I need the perfect name. And so I was like, okay, what about the Arab Shop? Because we're making items, and it's kind of like, it makes it simple. We already, I already have the Arab Life, but I wanted to make sure that he was okay with, because this was different. This was a partnership. So I wanted to make sure he was okay with the name, and not, it not seem like it was just my company. And again, Sid was like, whatever you want, it's fine with me. Like, he cared more about the products and the brand versus the name. And I
Yeah.
was more obsessed, like, it has to sound okay. Is it going to make sense? So
That's so woman.
yeah.
That's so woman.
It is, and when we were going like between names, because farm style decor, went through so many, and we were like, well, other people use this name, but this is just a generic name, and so this one it kind of intrigues people to look more into what you're talking about. So I was like, it's fine, it's perfect, yeah.
So how did you feel, Sydney, when Anika came to you and say, "Hey, let's do this partnership"?
I thought she was crazy. I was on break at work, and she was like, "Let's get together and do it." And I thought she was like any other family member. I was like, "Okay." And then, most of my family they'll say, "Let's do this and let's branch out and get together and be business partners." And I was like, "Sure." And I thought she was playing until a few days later, a couple weeks later, she was like, "Hey, let's start meeting. Let's start chatting. Let's start, on how we can really brand this and market it and what some items we can start off with." So she's right. When she has an idea, she totally goes for it, and I think that's why we feed well off each other. Because where she doesn't lack motivation, I got the motivation for it. So and even when she was talking about like not knowing how to do certain things, I believe if you can envision it, you can do it. So it's not hard if you can visualize it in your mind. You can do it. It can be made.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
So
agree.
the partnership it has to fit. It has to work together,
Hmm.
and one person is not going to be right all the time.
you're right.
I
He's
believe
so happy you're saying that because he tells me all the
All the
time
time.
that I think I'm always right. And
She
I'm like, I
does.
usually am, though.
That's a woman for you. You're right.
sometimes we just sit back and say, "Okay, I'll just wait," and then he'll come back. You know
Uh-huh.
what? You were right. And,
Hmm.
we're not going to say, "Yeah, I was right." We're just going to let you have it. Okay, we were right. So, and because the partnership has to work, because people will feed off your vibe. So if y'all
Hmm.
vibe is not working, then
Right,
Hmm.
people are
right.
going to feed off that, and they're not going to buy it. I don't want to buy from them. I don't.
Hmm.
They don't even get a loan.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I mean, you have partnerships that maybe talk about the other person to other people, and so you got to have somebody that that has your back. That's your ride or die. So if
Yeah.
anything
Hmm.
goes down, oh, I'm gonna stand up for that person, because when
Yeah.
you're in a
Yeah.
bit, you won, because it's your
You
Hmm.
company.
won.
They're
Yep.
not gonna look at
Yep.
Anika and say, "Oh, Anika, this product is not good."
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "What's wrong with this product? This is,
Hmm.
you guys need
Yeah.
to fix
Yeah,
this." So I mean, it's accountability on both parts. And
I agree.
so how do you
Absolutely.
hold each other accountable?
I would say, so I am the more, I would say, stern and strict one when it comes to the business. I'm kind of like deadlines, deadlines, deadlines. That's me. And Sid is more of the guy's gonna work it out. It'll listen if we can't, like earlier you were talking about pushing the book back, and his thing is, if it's not the right time, it's not the right time. It's okay. And I'm like, no, we set a deadline. We have to meet the deadline. So I think that I'm a little different. He's more relaxed and laid back. But like I said earlier, it balances me out. Because sometimes I get so stuck on, a date, a date, a date. And then after we push it back, it's so much better because we've had more time to think about it
Yep.
and,
Yep.
and kind of go over what kind of could have went wrong, but we have time to make it right now because we didn't just rush to put it out. So
Yeah, I think for anyone that is like branching off into their own business and you work with a partner, you have to understand it's your business. You rock to your own flow. So it doesn't matter, even if you have a deadline in your mind, if you push it back a little bit further so that the quality is better, it's worth it, even if it builds up people's anticipation. Don't be so stressed about deadlines. It is your company. You make the flow of the environment.
and I think that's how we kind of keep each other accountable because we just know each other so well.
Yeah.
So that I think that would be the best thing. It's like he knows when it's like, okay, Anika, calm down, chill out. Or
Hmm.
like, you know what? Let's just like, I can tell it's really bothering her.
Hmm.
Let's kind of work extra hard to get to meet this deadline. So I
Yeah.
think that's how we hold each other accountable, just really knowing each other. Like I said, we're cousins and we were best friends.
Hmm.
And so one of the things that we had to learn, and we're kind of still learning because, we're still kind of new at it, is how I am as a best friend is different from how I am as a business partner.
Yeah.
It's very different. I am very on it. Friends, I sit and goof around. I mean, Sydney talks about me all the time about how silly I am. When it comes to the business, I'm the complete opposite. I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, let's get this done. And so I think just getting to know each other in different atmospheres and in different situations. And I think that's why we work so well because we really do try to know each other's weaknesses, flaws, strengths, and then, move accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to respect what bothers the other person. So if I know that she's always stressing out, and we had this conversation not too long ago, and she was like, sometimes I just want you to indulge in my behavior. So she's like, when I'm stressed out, don't be like it's gonna be okay. Be like, yeah, that sucks, and then calm me down. So I think that you kind of got to go with the flow of your partner. You indulge in what they are doing to a certain extent, and then you kind of get up, and it's like, her thing is sometimes she worries a little bit, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be okay. So we balance each other good. You have to have a good balance with that partnership with that person, and support them, keep them uplifted.
You do. Support is a major part of it. The last thing you want to feel like is that your partner does not support you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So my next question would be, what advice would you give to somebody who is wanting to start a business?
start it. That's it. A lot of times we have fears of failure, and we feel like, if I start this and it fails, everyone's going to look at me. No one's going to look at you at all. A lot of times people have wonderful ideas, and they get up every day and they work their 9 to 5. And then at the end of their life, they have nothing to show for it because they never dared to step out into that opportunity. And that's what I would tell everyone. Just start. If it fails, it fails. It's nothing but a little bit of wasted money, hopefully. When we first started off, it wasn't going, miraculous. We were throwing a lot of money into the pot, and I was like, I got bills to pay, and I'm not gonna be able to pay them because, we $200-300 in the hole. We were like maxing out credit cards. I mean, it was the start, and my cousin gave us the best advice. Our cousin,
Yeah.
he sat us down after we had bought all this equipment. We're like, no, it's not working.
And we hadn't started yet. Keep in
Yeah.
mind, we had bought, and that was one thing that we did. We were so, like a lot of new business owners, we were so excited. So we
Yep.
went out and bought all this
all
stuff.
this stuff.
We bought, and it may not seem like a lot of money to other people, but we went out and bought like a $450 table saw.
Mm-hmm.
We have not used that thing
Not
but
yet.
once. Like my
Yep.
grandfather showed us how to use it, how he used it, and then we never used it.
It's like his Christmas
So
gift.
no, literally. So I just told him just keep it in the garage, like Merry Christmas. But that was the thing, like with what he was saying with my cousin. We were getting ready to start, and we were outside, and this was the day that my grandfather was gonna show us how to use the table saw. And my cousin, who's younger than the both of us,
Yep.
came out, and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, you want to help us, with the business, blah, blah, blah," just joking with him. And he was like listening to our ideas. And then he literally walked up to see it, put his hand on his shoulder, and he was like, "Word of advice for you guys, give it 1 year."
Yep.
He was like, give it 1 year
Give it 1
before
year.
you even consider quitting. No matter how bad it is, just give it one full year. And then after a year, if you feel that it's not really going the way you want, or maybe it's not really working out, then you can kind of go back to the drawing board
Yep.
and go to the table. But and so it's so funny that he brought that up, because I hadn't even realized that it was coming up to a year. And literally, like, it'll be our 1 year, October 24th,
Yep.
I believe. And so it's funny because Sydney always kept that in the back of his mind. I had totally forgot about it. But we never even came, I don't think we ever even came to a point where we were even considering quitting or anything like that.
No, we didn't come to a point of like quitting, but we came to like a big standstill, and we were like, I don't know, what are we gonna do?
Like,
and
what's next?
yeah, the products weren't working because we were working with an influencer at the time, and it was just seemed like the day kept getting pushed back and back and back. And then we just thought about it when we were almost ready to release, and we were like, it's almost our 1 year mark. So if this fails, we've totally given ourselves a year to do it. So don't be afraid to start. I mean, the worst thing is you lose some money, but at least you have the experience of saying, I did it. And the other people that sat at home with their own opinions and judgmental advice, they're still sitting on their ideas, and you moved on yours.
And
So,
that's one thing that people said. I'm sorry to cut you off. That they would say is, I feel like no one ever, even stuff that I felt like I failed at, no one even really noticed. Like, I hear so much, nigga, you do so much. You like don't care what it is you started, but I never hear people saying anything like, hey, whatever happened to that idea? But that never really even comes to me. So I think that I think it's just us.
Yeah.
It's more of us. We put like so much pressure on ourselves, and really just starting it isn't enough for other people.
Yeah.
So we are our worst critics. What I want you to do is explain what an influencer is. What is that?
So an influencer, how we came up, and we kind of had this idea from the very beginning, but I wanted to do something differently. We're in, this millennial time. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that millennials are really getting into, and what some of them are making really big money on, is being an influencer.
Yep.
And so most of them are social media influencers. And so what happened is, to make it short and simple, is someone with a lot of followers will get paid to promote other people's products, will get paid to announce this, will get paid to, like, they'll send an influencer free stuff, like, hey, if you post this on your Instagram, I'll give you this amount of money, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And that was fine, right? We were seeing people do that, but I wanted to do it a little differently. I wanted to solely work with influencers that did not have a huge following but had the potential. So for instance, even the collection that we just dropped, my friend Jamie, which thank God she was totally down for this, because I wanted someone that I knew to kind of, while we were learning and figuring it
Yeah.
out, to be able to extend grace. Like, it's a little different when you just go to someone you don't really
Yeah.
know. But I wanted to work with people who didn't have like 1 million followers or like 500,000, but like the tens and the 15,000 and the 20,000, because I just felt like those influencers kind of overlooked. It was like
Yeah.
these brands were going after people that had so many followers, but the reality of it is, followers do not equate to dollar
Yep.
value.
Yep.
Just, you can have 500,000 followers and be making less
You
money
can
than
repeat
a
that.
20,
Yeah.
than a
That's true.
20,000 amount of followers, because they have no real influence. They just have followers who like their pictures, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that they're going to buy things from you. So I was very strategic, just looking for people who had not only just a decent amount of followers, but also they had people really, into it. Like, really, I would say, just, it wasn't just they were just liking the photo. They were really interacting with them. And I was looking for influencers like that. And I just happened to have a friend who was doing exactly what I was looking for. So that's an influencer, someone who makes money off of their influence. And people who do it well are the ones that have so much engagement, like a higher engagement rate, and not just people that just kind of like, because now, they have apps for that, fake likes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
followers. So yeah.
So that's a good tip that the audience can take away from. If you have a product or a business that you're trying to get
Mm-hmm.
off the ground, then get an influencer. Find somebody. I like that you got somebody that wasn't so big to where,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you would get drowned probably in the amount of people that they probably was doing
Exactly.
stuff for.
Exactly.
So I think it's important to involve other people in your process as
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
well, who are also trying to climb that ladder of success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we need to work with each other. Like, it's what did it call it? Networking.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you
Yes.
network with people, or you cross promote with people. Like on the radio, we cross each other. We talk about each other's shows.
Yeah.
Coming up
Yeah.
next is going to
Yeah.
be so and so. Like right now, you're listening to Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle on IntellectualRadio.com, you guys. So make sure you like the page. Go over to the YouTube page
Yeah.
as well. And
Absolutely.
we have a lot of different shows on here that you guys will find very interesting. Talking to Sydney Marks and Anika Rivers, you guys. And guess what? We're talking about getting those coins. And I know everybody wants to make some extra money. So my next
Absolutely.
question would be, what are some of the uh-ohs that you ran into starting this business that you had no idea was going to happen?
Which one
Um.
would you say? I want to see if it's the same one I would say.
I think we ran into some uh-ohs recently. I think that everything has success, and I think that sometimes we see success on social media and we don't see the downs of what they go through. So
Who
it was
child?
just like small things that we didn't take into account for, like the cost of manufacturing in large quantities. Like, it's easy to make one or two of them, to give out to people, but when you have our
More
our
as a
our first shipment, we had like almost
100.
100 orders.
It was
Yes.
literally like the one thing that we totally did not take into account for was shipping.
Yeah.
So our business is online.
Yep.
So it's all shipping. I mean, literally everything is getting shipped.
Yep.
Aside from like if we do some vendor events, vendor opportunities, or anything like that. And so we didn't take into account of that. We didn't even know that anything west of the mountains, like West
Yep.
Coast, was like literally so much more to ship than like East Coast and South. So I think that was it's so funny. So quick story. We launched our latest collection. It was with our first influencer, my friend Jamie Squires. We launched the Jamie Squires collection September 5th.
Yep.
And so, I mean, we had faith in it, right? But like, we didn't know it was gonna do as well as it did.
We
So,
didn't. No.
literally, we're at church one day, and I'm just getting order after order after order.
It sound good though. It was like ching ching ching
Literally,
ching.
my phone would make this cha-ching noise, like letting know that we had an order. And I had to call my friend Jane. I'm like, hey, I gotta shut down the site because
Yep.
physically we're not gonna be able to make this stuff in a timely
Yep.
fashion. Like we have, it's sold out because it's too much. And we literally had so many pieces to make, and some of our pieces take it's so many steps in the
Yep.
process.
Yep.
So I think that's our biggest two things. One was shipping, but two, underestimating.
Yeah, the time.
Underestimating not even just the time, but just how successful it would be.
Yeah.
Like I think we thought we were like, yeah, this is gonna be great, but we got so many orders that we just would not have expected. And I thank God for it all the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's all we were talking about when we were getting this. Thank God. Like, this is what we wanted, but we just didn't take into account that we're only two people. So
Yeah.
literally we had the youth from my church coming over,
Yes.
family members, friends coming over, trying to fulfill these orders that we just did not expect to get, even though it's exactly what we prayed for, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lesson in and of itself. Be careful what you pray for, or don't just pray and not believe. And I also think it's just that he blessed us beyond what we could think. What we thought was successful, God was like, "Nah, I'm gonna show out with this with this
Yeah.
collection." So
Yeah, and I think that when you put God first, and I think that's even when you go on our website or on our online, we talk about how we love God and how God is first in our lives. So I
yeah.
think that's the main thing you have to put him first. And then we didn't do. My mother preached a sermon one time in church, and it was called "Count Up the Cost." We did not count the cost
Whew.
of what it would take. Even from the things like shipping, it took like what'd you say, 5 hours to just pack boxes. We had to cut them down.
Yes. I
It
mean,
was ridiculous. The man at the UPS store, we almost shut down his store for the day.
literally.
We had piled up like 40 boxes in his small little UPS shop. I felt so bad. He jumped on the back of the truck
He
and
was
was
so
helping us pull
helpful.
them
Shout out
down.
to Sean from the
Sean is
UPS in Chicago
amazing.
Ridge.
He is
He's the owner of
amazing.
the UPS. He was totally just when I came in, he didn't bat like it wasn't even like bad. He just was like, okay, let me help you guys
Yeah.
unload the truck. And one of the things that we didn't know, we thought that shipping, for instance, was based off as far as how much it costs, distance and the weight.
Yeah.
And we don't have super heavy items.
No.
What we didn't know is that it's also based off the size of the box. So we had these big boxes, not thinking anything of it, and some of them were like $60 and $70 to ship. I'm like, whoa! Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so literally, we left the post office, went to UPS the next day because there was this angel in the post office. I wanted to go back and thank her so much. But she had told me, I'm not sure if I should tell you this, but you should try to go down the street to the UPS. And I called my grandfather, like, I want to go thank her so much, but I don't want to get her in trouble. And he was like, those are the type of situations where you just ask God to like give him a special blessing for helping. But she told us, try UPS. And we went to UPS and, he was like, I'll cut the boxes down for free to kind of change the size of them. I mean, he was cutting them down like half the size,
Yeah.
So we did not count up the cost.
We did not.
But we learned, and I thank God for his grace because we didn't suffer outside of being irritated and annoyed. We didn't really
Yeah.
suffer much, outside of pushing it back one day to deliver the item. So
Well,
Yeah.
thank God for his grace.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you also increased the business at the UPS office too.
Yes,
So it was
yeah.
a win-win
It
situation.
was.
I literally told Sid, I'm gonna go in there and see if there's a way. Like, I'll tell him we're only gonna ship from him, and he didn't even ask for that. He literally just helped us. Where it was to the point where I wouldn't even want to go anywhere else, outside of his shop, because I feel like he helped and blessed us so much. I want him to keep, I want to keep bringing him business, from our business. So
That's
it
that
was good.
networking.
Yeah.
Networking.
That's what you do. So you are tuned into Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle. We're going to go into a break. We are talking to Sydney Marks and we are talking to Anika Rivers of the A-Riv.
Arrow.
Oh, God.
You're gonna dream about it tonight.
Okay. We are talking about the Arrow.
Yeah, Arrow shop.
Arif shop. And
Yeah.
let me spell it for you. It's ARIV.
Yep.
Before the show is over, I'm going to get it right. My dyslexia does not help. So we're going to go into a break. And again, we're talking about get your coins. You're on break.
Okay.
Soon as guys, they listen to the Warrior Talk here on Intellectual Radio, and this is Money Making Monday. And we have two special guests today. We have Sydney Marks in the house. Woo! We have Anika Rivers in the house.
Hi guys.
And they are the founders of
The Arab Shop.
Yes. Tell you, yes. Now give them the website really quick in case somebody want to go and do some shopping.
Yeah, so you can go to the Arab ARIV as in Victor shop.com. That's the arabshop.com. And you can find us on Instagram as well as Facebook at the Arab Shop.
Awesome. So, you guys, we're talking about making some extra coins. If you know some ways to make some extra coins, then I need you to put that information in there. But the second half of the show is being sponsored by Emmanuel Church of God in Christ, located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, with my pastor, the best pastor in the whole wide world, Michael Richardson. And at Emmanuel, we are building upon a solid foundation. Awesome, you guys. So we are back and we are talking about how to make them extra coins. And we have two individuals here. They are in partnership together and they had to shut down their website because the orders was coming in. They didn't realize that what they prayed for, they had to prepare for, that
Yes.
God sent the overflow. And so we are talking to them. They're giving us some secrets on how to maintain a relationship, a working relationship, and how to actually run a business. And they talked about preparing. So when you are preparing to run a business, did you guys do a business plan?
So funny. We did. Well, I should say, I guess every people do their business plans differently. We wrote out things that we wanted to do, but it wasn't like one of the formal business plans where it's like this 10-page thing or anything like that. And it wasn't that we didn't want to. I think that when we first started, we started fairly quickly. You know, we got the idea when in August and October we launched.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know. I shouldn't even say we didn't know what we wanted to do, but what we were thinking of doing then is kind of different from what we were doing now. I think we were jumping so fast into let's have all these different categories of what we wanted on the site, literally. And then we launched with our collection, earlier this month. And it was literally 3 different items, just 3. I mean, I think we wanted to start with like 7, and we just, thank God, we narrowed it down, but we just had 3 different pieces, but we had different sizes that you could order. And so I think that's one of the lessons that we learned. You don't have to do a lot. Sometimes simple and less really is more. And I'm glad that we kind of narrowed down, but it kind of took time.
It did take time, and I think if you have quality stuff and if it's something that you believe in yourself, people believe in it too. If you can envision in your house or whatever your business is, if you would like to buy the product or want to shop with this establishment, they'll want to shop with you.
And I think that it's great to have a business plan. I know that sometimes we think that we have to have this 10 and 20 page plan, and that's not me. One is because I think that things change. Like what we were doing at the beginning, the idea that we had for this company at the beginning is very, very different. So if we had followed the business plan, we wouldn't even be where we are, in my opinion, where we are today, because what we thought we wanted, what we thought we needed per se, it wasn't that. So, I mean, I think that we had simple things that we had like dates, like we wanted to release this then, and we wanted to do like a Valentine's Day collection and things, and we stuck with that. But as far as the type of items, the amount of money, that changes, so it's good. It's always great to have a plan. It really is. But I think that it just don't put so much pressure on yourself, feeling like you have to do every single thing that you wrote in the business plan by this date with this amount of money. It's not always going to, work out that way. So
I like that things are subject to change. Yeah. And don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You can write the vision, but sometimes the vision may change. And I read somewhere today that sometimes the plan could be 2 to 3 pages long, and you just add to it and adjust as you go along.
Yeah.
So I want them to see what you brought with you today, so they can have an idea of what to order.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And explain the thought process behind it.
So I guess the first thing we can do the board. So this is from our latest collection.
Okay.
We actually had some serving boards, and so how we did it, we bought 2 different sizes, but we sell them as a set, or we sell them individually. And so what we did was we didn't bring the entire Jamie Squires collection, but we literally added a leather strap, and so we basically have this wooden, it's all wood, and we have a leather strap that we added to it to kind of make it simple. Our other items we came out with a lantern, for example. That thing that takes so much effort.
It's pretty though. I saw it.
That's what we got the most orders of. And so we kind of let it flow, we used the same leather strap that
Yeah.
we did on the lanterns to kind of have. Most people sit them on their tables or like on, their mantles and things, but then some people kind of like the idea of them too. So it
Yeah.
kind of flowed with it. But that was a little, more, this was kind of simple. So we had candlesticks, for instance, and they were white. And then we had the lanterns that was kind of like half white, half,
Yeah.
stained. And then we wanted something, I was like, everybody doesn't, like white items. So let's
Yeah.
have something that's kind of neutral. And that's how, I was like, scratch the white. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep this one all, all stained in wood. And we got just as many orders of this that we
Yeah.
did the lanterns as well. So people seem to like it. So that's some items that we have from the collection. And then we have like, just some wall decor, I would say. We have this chalkboard sign. And so it's a chalkboard kitchen sign. My sister adores this. She writes, when she wants to feel fancy, she writes her menu of what she's cooking, for the day for her kids. And, so it's really cool. We like I said, we stick to the farmhouse style, but like a
Yeah.
modern feel. So some stuff is like strictly wood, and then some stuff is kind of modern, just to kind of, people have different tastes. So we're in the same field, but we try to do different things, that kind of can go in different types of vibes or different types of homes and spaces. So yeah.
Yeah, and even though, like we're in the farm style decor business, it's for anyone's home. So we try to
Yeah.
make it where the person that, lives in that $1 million home can look at it and it's like, oh my God, these are great items.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, the person that's in their first apartment or their
Yeah.
first home can be like, these are great items to make my home look better. We got some reviews from people, like post them in the home. Oh my God, they looked
They
amazing.
did. That
People
was
were
the
so,
best part. I
yeah, they
think
were.
when we
Was
got
that the picture we saw?
we had no, so not that one,
Not
but
that
there
one.
were others. So as people received their orders, they would literally style the pieces in their
Yep.
home, and they would send us pictures. A couple of them we've shared on our Instagram at the Arab shop, inside other people's homes. But I think that was like the best part, the most rewarding part for me is the emails that we got saying, "Oh my God, it looks so beautiful." We had one person say it looks better in person than it did,
Yeah.
on the site. So I think that was like the best. Sydney liked the cha-ching sound when we were getting those orders, but I think we both just really appreciated the feedback we got, because I think every business owner wants to know that it's not just them that likes their
Yeah.
business or their products, right? Like the goal is for the people that are shopping to like it as well. So that was kind of my favorite part of this crazy experience.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have your family and they'll buy from you. And you're like, oh, they're being nice, so they'll support you because no one else is supporting you. But to have like someone across the country that doesn't know you,
Yeah.
that's fighting with one lady was fighting with her husband. Like, no, these
No, it
these
was
are
so
these are for
funny. These are
decoration.
decoration
Do not
only.
cut on these. Don't put your food on these. So it's amazing. They have people like it's such good craftsmanship, and I could tell that you took your time. We love it.
Yeah.
It makes every moment,
That was rough.
that was rough.
Worth
I
it.
mean, rough.
Yeah.
Like we were sitting up there, and I was like, God, maybe if I hit my toe, I can go home early.
No, when we were getting these orders out, we were getting an average of like 3 hours of sleep because
Yes.
again, we didn't count up the cost, but we also weren't prepared for the amount of orders that we got. We only got like a few from Illinois.
Yeah.
The rest were literally California.
Yeah.
Oregon, like
Yeah.
Mississippi,
Yeah.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Texas, East Coast, West Coast, North, Michigan. It was all over the United States. And I was so grateful for that because, and that's one thing I was saying when we decided to use influencers. I didn't just want to get people that had, a nice amount of followers. I went to people that were already talking about the things that we sell. They
Yeah.
already were homes with farmhouse style home decor. And that's what their followers like. So I was very strategic with it. I didn't want to just pick people that were nice and had a nice amount of followers. I went with people who already had followers that were interested in products like ours.
Yeah.
And I think that was what was so great about it is that these people were already shopping for stuff like this, when they saw it and she announced that, we were coming out with a collection with her that she helped design. So she literally, we made it. She was like the
Yeah.
designer, and we made it. And that's one thing too. And one of the reasons that I wanted to work with influencers is that I didn't want to just say, hey, I want to send you a couple of free items you posted. I really wanted them to be able to help design, like put their own, style and taste in it. And I think that they appreciate that. It's
They'll
not
push
just,
it more.
yeah, they appreciate that because it's like, this is my collection with my name on it. And it literally was a win-win for all of us. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to get me an influencer, y'all. Yeah, I mean, I'm sold on that already.
Yeah.
I may not know how to pronounce the name, but I will get me an influencer.
Yeah.
I want to some of the myths that come along with starting a business. You
Mhm.
know how when you start a business, you hear these things that are true,
Mhm.
and then when you actually are into the business, and you're like, that's not true. That's a myth.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that you can pick out when you're starting a business? Like, what's a myth that you found out?
One myth is that you have to have a lot of money
That was
and
my
you
first
have
thing.
to have it all together. Like when you were talking about the business plan, people are like, well, I have to be financially stable to start this. Or we were like, yeah, we'll have to have this certain amount in the business and then we'll pull that from the business. And I mean, at the end of the day, it was both for our checkings account, about to be maxed out, trying to get the business started. So I think that is the myth of I have to have it all together. Just like I said earlier, just start. Don't be afraid. If you lose some money, you lose some money. But if you can sit back at the end of the day and the people that buy your products are like, yes, we love it. I mean, even when we went to this, we're like, oh my God, all the money we're gonna make. And my youth leader at my church sat me down on a Friday because I was about to panic and I freak out. She was like, you look so tired. I was like, you don't know the half of it. And she was like, if at the end of the day you balance, she was like, if you even if you don't make anything, if at the end of the day you make $0, but all your
But you're not in debt, yeah.
not in debt, all your customers are happy. She was like, you have customers for life. And so I think that that's one thing that people would have to understand. Once you get that customer loves your item, they'll come back. They'll
Mhm.
come
And
back
refer you word of
and
mouth.
refer you.
And I'm so big on customer service.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just Sydney. I think Sydney and I both
Yeah.
are, because we worked in customer service. We
Yes.
worked with, dealing or just seeing our coworkers give
Yeah.
off bad customer service. And so we were totally against that. We were like, we're going to, I mean, even if it's not our fault, if we can fix
Yeah.
it, we're going to fix it. If we got to come out of our pocket a little more money, that's fine. Like we want them to leave satisfied. So we're really big on that. And I do agree with Sid. I think a lot of our customers appreciated how quickly we responded to emails.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't take into consideration how long it's going to take to do all these orders. So one of the things was we kind of they had to wait a little bit longer on shipping. But
Yeah.
one of the things that people appreciated was we were contacting them. We were communicating like, hey guys, we are working on them. Like, and it was stuff that was driving me crazy. I was like, Sydney, we have to get these orders out
Yeah.
tomorrow. Like I was going crazy. And Sydney, he was like, communicate. Like I'm okay with waiting if I don't have to reach out to you first to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're really big on customer service and making our customers happy.
Yeah, no, I work in a museum and it absolutely drives, with the people that, work with me when they don't give good customer service. Even if a person comes up and they're yelling at you and they're talking crazy, you're supposed to smile and give great customer service because the customer is always right. And I think that's the same thing we do with this business. We had a couple people, they tried us and we were like, everything's
Great, yeah,
okay. We're sorry for the inconvenience and this is what we'll do to make it better. I think that 9 times out of 10, you can de-escalate any situation with just being nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's the little things that we did. We did things like when they got their packages, they opened and they found a handwritten note from us.
Yeah.
I had a friend, she's starting her own blog, and she was like, "How do I give my giveaway away?" I was like, "Put a personal note in there. They will appreciate it, and they'll keep referring people to you." I think it's the little things we don't think about that people they love. They love.
They do. They do.
That's true because I had this lady working on my book cover,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, I'll get it to you in 24, 48 hours. I'm like, all right. Well, that time passed doubled. And I was like, okay. And I was emailing her
Uh-huh.
and I'm sending her messages, no response. And then she finally responded to me and she was like, I'm so sorry. We had a storm and knocked out my power. And so I wasn't able to get to you. So, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna get it to you within 24 hours. And although I needed it
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, because she's done work for me in the past. So I know that she wouldn't have been ignoring me
Right.
purposely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think customer service is very
Yeah.
important. I thrive on customer service. And sometimes
Yeah.
I would try you to make sure I get good customer service. I go all the way up to the manager's manager. Let me speak.
That
There's
is so
somebody
funny.
else other than you there that I can speak to that's going to get me what I want. So customer service is very important.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, you guys. Okay, this is what I want y'all to do. Because
Okay.
we're winding down time and we're on Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle, Intellectual Radio, and we're talking about getting those coins.
Yeah.
We have Sid Marks here and we have Anika Rivers, and they are from,
The Arab shop.
yes, they are. And so I want y'all to give some words of wisdom to someone who may have that fear. I know you said, Sydney, you said at first, just start.
Mm-hmm.
They may not know what to do. You know,
Mm.
a lot of people see other people doing stuff and they say, oh, that looks easy. And then when you
Yeah.
get into it, you're like, what? That's not easy at all. So how important is it to operate in your gift?
I would say, and this is something, there is a guy, Bishop Samuel White, and he comes to run a revival at our church every year. So I haven't seen him since he told me this. I cannot wait to see him next year. But one of the things that he preached about, and he also told me personally, he said, buy the field. And what he was saying is a lot of times we see other people doing things and it's working for them. And so we start leaving our own field instead of buying our own field. And when I say buying, investing in yourself, learning as much as you can about what you need to learn and doing as much as you can, we step out of our field to go to someone else's field. And the reality of it is we're always going to have to come back to our field.
Yeah.
So you can waste a year, you can waste 10 years, you can waste 10 days. It's totally up to you, but you're going to always have to come back to your own field. And so my words of wisdom would be, like Bishop Samuel White said, buy your field. Find your thing and do whatever you can and learn as much as you can and research as much as you can about your thing. Because the reality of it is it's so easy for us to look at other people and see them doing amazing things, but it's not our thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes the thing that God downloads to them to do for them, it wouldn't even work for us even if we tried, So I think that's our thing. No one I know personally was doing this, what we're doing. They don't even farmhouse style home, because that's not even their type of decor in their home. And so it was kind of crazy. I am doing this crazy stuff. I'm a country singer. That was already a shocker in and of itself with my family. They were like, country, what are you talking about? But I think I guess that's my biggest advice. Like, it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like, do your thing. It doesn't matter how crazy it seems, how different it is. I mean, we didn't know anyone doing what we were doing, but here we are. God is blessing us with all these customers and orders and things that we couldn't have even imagined, especially with it being our first time launching the actual collection. So that's my words of wisdom: is buy your own field, but believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times, one of my things or one of my issues, it wasn't my doubt in God. I've never doubted God. That's kind of never been my thing. I believe that God can do whatever he wants to do. But I would always say, well, why won't he do it for me? Why won't, I know that he can do it. But then I realized it had nothing to do with God. I didn't believe in myself. It had nothing to, I believed in God. And sometimes I think people think if they have faith in God that, that's enough. Yes, have faith in God, but know that he'll do it for you too.
Yeah.
He's no respecter of persons. He doesn't, it's not like he can bless this person, but he doesn't want to bless you. It's believe in yourself and trust in God and buy your own field. That's the best thing I could say. See it?
You got 30 seconds.
Okay.
Took all your time.
To piggyback off of what she said, just step out there and believe in yourself. There's a scripture in the Bible, and it says that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and which are called according to his purpose. Even when it seems bad, even when it seems like it's failing, you have to know that all things are still working together for your good.
Give them the website real quick.
www.therivshop.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
you
you
for
guys
having
coming. I
Yes,
know
us.
that
thank
you guys
you.
were taking notes. Again, this is Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle here on Intellectual Radio. You guys, and if God gave you the purpose, if He gave you
Yes,
purpose, then He's going to give you the grace to complete it.
the
Amen.
grace.
So thank you
Amen.
guys for tuning in. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for having